guys, welcome back to another movie review, and today we are reviewing Tarot. Yes, this is spelt tarot, and I believed it was always tarot cards, but it's not, and they actually acknowledge this in the movie. It is actually tarot cards. It is a thing. Basically, these are when you go in to see like a psychic reader or whatever. That's what we kind of market it as in the UK, and very much you go to get your forecasts or your readings taken, I guess, of your potential future. You're going to get your reading of your life. You're going to get your cards dealt to you, and what is dealt on those cards is kind of seen as your future. So, you know, you're going to come into some money, or you're going to come into, you're going to have an accident, that kind of thing. It plays on that. But this is a film where the tarot cards are actually cursed. Obviously, it's a horror movie. And basically, a lot of people would say this movie is very much like, you know, it's the horror movie with Ned from Spider-Man films, basically, because it is very similar to that. You know, that is what it is on the marketing. I mean, even on Letterboxd, it's just Ned at the top. And he is 100% Jacob Batalon. He is the biggest actor in this movie, 100%. But if we take a look at Letterboxd, there is a ton more of decent actors in this movie as well. We've got Harriet Slater in the film, Aidan Bradley, Avantika. She is basically, she was in Mean Girls recently, so she's very good in this as well. She was playing like the dumb person in Mean Girls. We get Jacob Batalon, obviously, Alana Bowden, and Humbly Gonzalez, and then there's a few other supporting cast members below. But this film, Tarot, so the group of friends go to this like cabin, they're like on holidays or whatever, you know, it's somebody's birthday and they just like booked a Airbnb or whatever, and they break into this room and they find these tarot cards, all these weird like horror-y stuff, and they decide, let's do each other's readings, we're drunk, let's just do it, screw it. So they do the readings, think nothing of it, and then the day after then, one of their friends dies. And she dies in the way that the tarot cards reading basically said she would die. So what was happening was all of the friends were basically getting picked off one by one. It was one of those horror films where each character gets picked off one by one, but we already know what's happening to them because we've already had the readings. And obviously there is a couple of friends that have figured it out by a certain point, and then by that certain point they're like, right, we need to, you know, figure out how this has happened. Go back, get the cards, figure it out. They're cursed. What do we do? Destroy the cards? We can't do all these things. So it's one of them. It was a ride, real ride, and probably one of my favourite horror films I've watched this year. Not gonna lie. I thought it was well produced, well made, and you know, coming in at 92 minutes, horror film length. Don't get me wrong, but you know, when I've watched films like The Night Swim this year, you know, even Imaginary I thought was pretty decent, but I think this was better than Imaginary. I think it had a lot more really cool aspects to it. I love the whole witchcraft of like reading tarot cards and stuff like that. Like, I personally don't do it myself, but like I remember a film I watched a long time ago called Ouija board, and I thought that was a really good film, and it was that kind of thing, you know, it's about the stuff that is folklore in terms of horror and speaking to ghosts and all that, but you know, tarot cards fall under that aspect. The movie is directed by Spencer Cohen as well as Anna Hallberg, and for Anna Hallberg, it's her first movie that she's directed. For Spencer, it's like his third or second. You know, they're very small up and coming directors, and I think it was pretty decent. I think there's definitely potential with this film. It reminded me of Talk to Me, you know, in the sense of there's a lot of unanswered questions. There was a bit of a backstory about how the cards actually got, you know, cursed and stuff like that, but that could be an entire film in itself. They could do a prequel similar to what they're doing with Talk to Me. You know, it's a 15, so there is film moments in there where I think it could have been an 18, and it could have shown us a lot more of the gore and the blood and guts and how the actual deaths happened and stuff like that. But I think, you know, it's trying to appeal to a wider audience. Obviously, you've got the young recognizable actors in there as well, which I think do really good jobs. And yeah, I think overall it was a decent horror film. That much so that I actually rated this film a 3-star. It's not, you know, I haven't found a horror film yet that is like elite for me at the moment. I think you know, they're averagely made. Don't get me wrong. None of the horror films I'm watching, other than the Conjuring universe, where I think I gave those a 4 stars. I think, you know, they always lack a little bit. They've always been lacking that little bit more, that little step more, that little bit extra that gives you that fluffiness, that gives you that, oh, this is a good film, you know? And I think these films coming out, these are the ones that are in the cinema for a week here. Not sure about around the country, but I'm glad I'm watching them. Don't get me wrong. Night Swim, less we speak about that, the better. Imaginary would have been one I missed, but I'm glad I watched that. Tarot now, another one I'm glad I watched. So there's plenty of horror films that I need to think. There's a few I've missed, don't get me wrong, but 3-star for me. Great job from the two directors in terms of their first big roles in terms of making a movie, and you know, of course, Ned, he is a great guy. And he basically is playing Ned in this film, not gonna lie, he is very typecast. But yeah, recommend it. Go and check it out if you can, 100%. If it's not in cinemas, you know, wait for it to come on streaming. I would recommend you guys watch it. So there it is, Taro. I gave it a 3 star. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.